Up in the morning and out to school.
Hi everybody. I'm going to continue today with reading about Jane Goodall. And remember, she was working as a waitress, saving money to get to go to Africa. Her friend Chloe had invited her to come to Kenya, Africa. So on March 13th, 1957, Jane's African adventure began. She was turning 23. In England, she boarded a ship that arrived in Kenya 3 weeks later. From the city of Mombasa, she took a train inland. It was April 3rd, her birthday. After a long drive on dirt roads, Jane reached the farm in time for dinner and a birthday cake. So this was where she was going, Kenya. Can you see it there on the map? Kenya and Africa. I have a friend who's from Kenya. That very first day, do you know what Jane saw? A giraffe. It wasn't in a cage. It was running by the side of a road. She could hardly believe it. What a terrific birthday present that was. Jane knew that she couldn't stay at the farm for more than a few weeks. She was a guest, after all. She didn't want to overstay her welcome. What she needed was a job that would keep her in Africa. Jane was in luck. At a party, she met someone who arranged a meeting between Jane and the famous scientist, Louis Leakey. He and his wife Mary were British citizens, but Kenya was their home. So there's her first day where she saw the giraffe running, and that's Louis Leakey and his wife. At Olduvai Gorge in the plains of East Africa, the Leakeys led groups on digs to find fossils. Not dinosaur fossils. The Leakeys were looking for fossils of the very earliest humans. Most scientists at the time thought that the first humans were from Asia. Louis believed they were from Africa, and he was right. In 1960, he came upon fossils of a very early human species. It came to be known as Homo habilis. Homo habilis lived on Earth from about 2 3/10 to 1 4/10 million years ago. It looked more like an ape than like a modern human being. It had a small head and was short and had very long arms. From the moment Louis met Jane, he liked her. She had a shy manner, but he could tell she was smart and had a spirit of adventure. He offered her a job, and naturally, Jane took it. Jane worked as Leakey's secretary at a museum in the city of Nairobi, Kenya. But right away, Leakey gave her the chance to dig for fossils at Olduvai Gorge. So there she is working for Louis, and she's going to get to dig for fossils. Jane had never done this type of work before. She didn't know anything about digging for fossils, but she was a fast learner. For hours every day, she picked away at the clay and rocks with small tools. Sometimes she unearthed a bone of a creature from the distant past, but usually she found nothing. The work was tiring, and during the dry season, the Olduvai Gorge was like a desert. Even so, it was a wonderful time for Jane. She wrote that it was wild, untouched Africa. There were all the animals of my childhood dreams. She saw lions, a rhinoceros, and loads of gazelles. She saw dik-diks, which are little antelopes the size of a fox terrier. And from Louis Leakey, Jane learned about the chimpanzees. So there's a picture of her working at the gorge and all the animals that she got to see. And we'll continue with this book tomorrow. You know, school's about to start. It has started for some of you, and in this area, I think for most people, it starts next week, September 1st. So this is called the first day of school. Now, school's going to be a little different this year, but there's still going to be a first day of school, and it's going to be wonderful. The first day of school. Summer was almost over. Susan Elizabeth would be going to school for the very first time. Every night she and Mikey played school with the new book bag and crayons that Mommy and Daddy had given her. Oh, she's really excited. A few days before school opened, Mommy took the children to visit Elizabeth's classroom. Mrs. Ford was going to be Elizabeth's teacher. "Come, Elizabeth, I'll show you our room," said Mrs. Ford. Elizabeth looked at the cubbyhole where she would hang her jacket. She saw the gerbil and the bathroom and the shelves full of books and toys. "Oh, I like this school," said Elizabeth. At last, the very first day of school arrived. Elizabeth woke up very early, put on her special present from Grandma, a new pink sweater with a bear on the front. She ate her breakfast in a hurry. Then she waited by the door, all ready to go. "Mommy is taking an awfully long time," Elizabeth thought. Elizabeth didn't want to be late for school on the first day. She was excited, but they got there right on time. Mommy helped Elizabeth put her things in her cubbyhole. Elizabeth couldn't wait to join the class, but first Mommy and Mikey had to give her a goodbye hug. "Have fun, Elizabeth," said Mommy. "We'll pick you up right after school." Then Mommy and Mikey left. Elizabeth looked around the big, busy room. She didn't know any of the children. And now that Mommy and Mikey were gone, she felt all alone and she felt a little bit scared. Oh, have you ever felt that way? Sometimes we all feel that way in new circumstances. Everyone else had something to do. One girl was making a pig out of modeling clay. A boy was building a castle with blocks. Another boy was painting a picture of a dragon. Elizabeth decided to paint a picture of her mother. "Is that a picture of you, Elizabeth?" Mrs. Ford asked. "No," said Elizabeth. At cleanup time, a boy splashed paint on her new sweater. "I don't know if I like school very much," Elizabeth thought. When Mrs. Ford called the children over to the piano, everyone wanted to sit close to her. There was barely room for Elizabeth. She tried to sing, but she felt like crying. Then Mrs. Ford asked everyone to hold hands and make a circle for a game. Elizabeth didn't feel like playing. She wished she could go home instead. Oh, she just wasn't feeling comfortable. Elizabeth stood near her cubbyhole. "I don't want to play that stupid game," she said. "I hate school." She climbed into her cubbyhole to hide. But Elizabeth was too big for the cubbyhole. When she tried to move, she got stuck. "Help!" Elizabeth wailed. A little boy named William was the only one who heard her. He untangled Elizabeth's jacket and helped her climb out. "Whew," said Elizabeth. "Thanks." "Why aren't you playing?" she asked then. "I don't know how to play that game," said William. "Come on," said Elizabeth. "I'll show you." Elizabeth took her new friend's hand and tapped a girl on the shoulder and got into the circle with William. "I'm glad you and William joined us, Elizabeth," said Mrs. Ford. Later, Mrs. Ford let Elizabeth and William hand out cups and crackers at snack time, and afterward they played Simon Says with everyone. William was Simon. Oh, they look a lot happier now, don't they? Sometimes you just have to find a friend. "What did you do at school today?" asked Mommy when she and Mikey came to take Elizabeth home. "Oh, nothing," Elizabeth said, looking over at William. "But I can hardly wait for tomorrow. I like school." And you know, I think that's how you're going to feel too when you go and you start with your new class. And one more book, it's called Manners at School. And you know what, whether you're at school or you're doing online school and you're at home, what do we all need? We all need manners, don't we? Your school is a busy place. Using good manners can make it nicer for everyone. Good manners can also help everyone learn. Good manners show respect for teachers and classmates. There are lots of ways you can use good manners at school. Olivia gets to school on time each day. She always says, "Good morning, Miss Martin." She is using good manners. Yes, she is. Arnold gives his full attention to his teacher's directions. He is using good manners. He sure is. When her teacher asked the class to be quiet during a movie, Madeline stops talking to her friends. She is using good manners. I'm glad she stopped talking. Paul keeps his eyes on his own work. He never peeks at his neighbor's paper. He is using good manners. Manners are so important. Alan and Corey stand in line quietly before recess. Wow, look at that line. They are using good manners. Jamie cleans up after her table after art class. She is using very good manners. Her teacher's going to be so proud of her. Owen raises his hand to ask his teacher a question. He is using good manners. Way to go, Owen. Dot shares her colored pencils with Alexandria. She is using good manners. Oh, it's so nice to share, isn't it? Marco finishes his math test before his classmates. He asks the teacher if he may borrow a book during his free time. He is using good manners. He's not distracting or disrupting someone else. It's important to use good manners whenever you are in class. Good manners keep the classroom running smoothly. These are some fun facts. In Haiti, kids talk to their teachers only when asked a question. In Japan, students clean the school at the end of each day. In Australia, children begin the school year in February and finish in December. Teachers were once paid with food or a place to live. That's why students still give their teachers apples. In Russia, people celebrate the Day of Knowledge on the first day of each school year. And in France, most children start going to school when they are just 3 years old. So if you're at real school or you're online or Zoom or whatever they call it nowadays, remember to always show manners at school. That's so important. And I hope that you're going to have a great time at school this year. Oh, I love school, and I hope you will too. Bye. Love you.
Amen.